Well, I think every historian sees things differently from other historians, but we have undergraduate courses and graduate courses that make us think as alike as possible in very many ways. That's what becoming a professional historian is. It's a process of sharing interpretations. I think had a great advantage as a historian, which is I was never really trained as one. My first degree was in chemistry. Most of the history that I know I've learnt from reading books and working in archives. But reading those books kind of on my own in my own order. So I've had to work out for myself what particular historians' arguments were, and perhaps out of ignorance, I've often found it difficult to understand what they've been trying to say. So I suppose I've had a particular tendency to kind of worry about what an argument is that a particular historian is making and what the evidence is. And my dissatisfaction with both my own ignorance and perhaps with the argument of a book leads me to look into things that other historians perhaps have not paid much attention to, or to explore the implications of an assumption that I found to be widespread that hasn't been noticed. Actually, I'm much less of a controversial historian than might meet the eyes. For example, I might be thought of somebody who's making very strong claims about the condom or the rickshaw. But what I'm using those examples to point out is that our understanding of the material constitution of society in the 20th century is not as robust as we might think. Because once we take an example like the condom and begin to realise that most of our accounts of contraception focus on the contraceptive pill, which implies there's nothing before the contraceptive pill or no alternative to the contraceptive pill. But once one says the word condom, the reader immediately understands that there are alternatives, and the history of contraception is a long one. If we think of the case of the rickshaw, we understand there are lots of different kinds of urban transportation, that there are differences in the kinds of urban transportation that exist in different parts of the world. It reminds us indeed that there's a whole poor world, that there are technologies of poverty, which are hugely important in many parts of the world that sometimes don't get at all represented in our models of historical change.